Welcome back, viewers. So we are learning how to fail over and fail back in the basically Azure Virtual Machine, okay, and on premises, okay. So basically, so far we have learned that on premises is in a disaster mode. It is not working, and we want to save it, and we want to make sure it is again up and running. Okay. So there are 4 steps, like we discussed. Watch my previous video. In this video, I will teach you what is the first step of your failover and failback. Okay, so what is the first step? First step is failover from on premises. So this is my first step, failover from on premises. So what does it mean? It means that your on premises machines and setups are not working, like the symbol, red symbol, they are not working, and you want to basically navigate all the client requests that are coming. You want to transfer them to the Azure machines, okay, so that basically your client will not experience any stoppage or outages. They think that it is still working, so all of your applications are still working because you already initiated the failover to the virtual machine in the cloud Azure. So you see the diagram here. Client, all the requests are coming and they are going to the Azure basically, okay, and your on premises is in disaster mode, so it is just turned off. So like I said, after setting up the Azure on premises machine replication, so before you do all of that, you must have your application turned on so that your virtual machines, the disk that we had in the Azure, they are up to date, right? Okay, so that is our first step. So you are basically failing over, initiating the failover. But important thing to note here is there are some checklists that you should follow before you basically turn over fail over to Azure. Okay, so there are basic uh, 2 things that you want to make sure. Okay, so it may depend on the operating system that you are using, right? So basically 2 things means before failover and after failover. These are the 2 important checklists I have mentioned here. Okay, so and it is same for same before failover, after failover in the Linux also. So now we are talking about that. Okay, you are going to failover, that is fine, to the Azure virtual machine, but what if it does not not working, right? If it is not working, so you must make sure that you follow some of the checklists. So let's go through the checklist. So this is my target failover operating system in the Azure, and this is my stage, which stage I am in, and then some action has to be performed in which location and what are those actions. So this is my table that I've drawn here. Okay, so the number one thing we are saying is Windows Azure virtual machine. If you are using on the Azure and you are going to initiate the failover, so basically you are going to initiate, you have not initiated yet, and on the premise virtual machine you must do some actions. What are those actions? So let's go through them. So number one is you must make sure that if you are using internet access, then your RDP is allowed for all of the profiles on the premises machine. So make sure you note this, RDP must be allowed for all of the profiles in the on premises machine. Okay, next step you must follow is, suppose you are using site-to-site VPN connection from on premises to your Azure virtual machine, right? Then make sure that RDP is allowed for the domain that you are using and the private network. Okay, so there are 2 different things. Internet access, if you are using, then for all profile RDP should be enabled. If you are using site-to-site VPN, then make sure your RDP is allowed for the domain and private network. Okay, another thing is to note here is make sure your SAN is set to online. What is SAN? So SAN is a separate topic that I can cover in the next video or in my upcoming video. But imagine SAN is nothing but a storage area network. So what happens is, like Azure by default set up some of the disk for their temporary setup, and we can discuss all of that. So it will change your disk drive basically. Suppose you have in the D drive some data, so Azure will automatically change them to E drive, and it may break your applications, right? So make sure you do online so that the breakage will not happen, it will work seamlessly. I can go through the details in my next video what is SAN. And so these are the three things that you should note when on the premise machine before you fail over. Okay, so after you fail over, for suppose you initiated the failover, and then what you should do on the Azure virtual machine. So next step in Azure virtual machine, what you should do is you should go ahead and add the public IP address and also allow the network security group rules on the failed over virtual machine must allow incoming connections to the RDP port. That is this is saying. And in my previous point that I was saying on premise virtual machine, the another thing that you should also note is that when you are basically trying to initiate, right, then before you initiate, go to your virtual machine in the cloud and check out that there is no Windows update is pending. That is the point that I missed actually, so you should note that there is no Windows update pending on the virtual machine. Okay, otherwise what will happen, you have to wait till your Azure virtual machines are updated, right? So make sure you first update them. Okay, so that was the before failover. After failover, you need to just add the public IP address, and also what happens that you should just making sure that all the network settings, security group rules that you have on the failed over virtual machine, they must allow the RDP port. Okay, and also you can check your virtual machines are turned on and they are running. You can review the troubleshooting tips and make sure your Azure virtual machines are up and running. So this is the after failover. Okay, so these are the two checklists in the first stage that you should follow. And if you are using Linux Azure virtual machine, then before failover on the premise, what you should do, you should just make sure that secure shell service is enabled. Okay, so it is started and running on boot also. So the moment you boot up, it should be running. And so you're checking that secure shell service on the virtual machine is set to start, and also you're checking that fire rules allows the SSH connection. So SSH is a connection that you use without logging to connect to your machine. Okay, next is after you fail over on the virtual machine of the Azure, you go and add the public IP address, and you should check that you are allowing all the incoming connections to the SSH port that you have just used, right? So that is what you need to check, that incoming connections are allowed to the SSH port. And also you can check the boot diagnostics for a screenshot of the virtual machine to troubleshoot any problems if you are facing. So I hope I could explain. It was a little bit complicated, the actions that you must remember, right? So go through this all the stages, actions that you need before you fail over, okay, and after you fail over. So this is our first stage. What I'll do is I'll go in my next video where we will see the stage 2. I think stage 2 and onwards are little bit simple, but stage 1 is little bit involved. Okay, so this video was lengthy and sorry about that. I'll try to minimize in my next videos, but I hope it makes sense to you and you understood what are the actions required before and after failover. Okay, so let's go in the next video and I'll teach you what is the stage 2 on failover and fail.